I'm Philip.
I'm Asha.
We are interns for the building department of the town of Newcastle. And over the summer, we embarked on a journey across the town to verify outfall, collect data on outfall, and learn about our stormwater system.
So I know one of the most common, questions I was asked when I told people what I was doing for the summer was, what is an outfall? So this is a fancy definition provided by the state, but basically what that means is that outfall is any place where stormwater is collected and then discharged into a surface water of the United States. So that would be a stream, a lake, a pond, a reservoir, any of those types of things. And this could be from a pipe, a ditch, a swale, or any other concentrated flow. So things that aren't outfalls are when it's from a non-concentrated flow. So we have, I think, a picture later on about a non-concentrated flow where something flows into something that's flat. So this is not an outfall, it's sort of a sheet flow.
So an outfall is sort of just one element of the stormwater system. So our town is designated as an MS4, which means we operate a system of stormwater conveyances. And there are many categories. Our town falls into the traditional land use control, where the town owns the land and operates the stormwater system on that land.
So a little bit about the background of the establishment of this MS4 program is in 1978, the EPA decided that the Clean Water Act wasn't accurately managing stormwater outfall, and just stormwater in general, not just outfall. And so there were a series of requirements that were, or laws that were passed to make requirements for outfall for mapping stormwater. And presently we have Article 17 of the Environmental Conservation Law that created the State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Program, which Phil is going to talk a little bit about.
Yes, so because we're an MS4, there are certain regulations we have to comply with under the SEPT's special general permit. So here's a list, but the one our project focused on was maintaining the maps of outfalls, going around verifying if they are actually outfall, and then describing their current physical condition.
So these are a few of the terms that Phil and I had to learn, so we figured there were things that maybe not everyone knew. So this is a catch basin. So what Phil is standing on, that's a catch basin, which is a type of inlet, which is basically just a source. This is a swale, which is pretty much a man-made ditch on the side of the road. And this is an example of a culvert, which just allows water to flow under a structure. So in this case, it's a stream that's from somewhere up here that is now flowing under this road to right here.
So here's an image of the collector application, which we have on our tablet. And it has the same format as Google Maps, and it's based on GIS. So it allows us to have multiple layers of data on a single map. And one of these little red icons is the outfall system. So we could upload data through this.
Sorry, over 500 points.
Yeah, it was very accurate too.
So this is an example of the day in the life of a building intern. So this is Phil out in Newcastle.
Trying to get a signal.
Yes, trying to get a signal. That's exactly what he's doing. We could only get signal right there for this whole area, so we just kept coming back. So one of the things that we did before we started every day was we met with Kellen in the morning and we discussed where we were going to go. So we have this big map that we have out on the table, and we fold it in many different ways, so it's seen better days now. And we kind of planned out where we were going to go. That way we weren't driving to one part of the town, going to another, and just going back and forth. So once we determined that, and Kellen knew where we were going, we were all safe, we had our vests, we went out in the town cars, and we went to the different locations. So when we got to a location, we usually looked for an inlet first. So most often it was a catch basin that we were looking for. And in a catch basin, you can usually see the pipe that we're actually looking for, so the actual outfall. So often we would do a combination of looking for the pipe and kind of following where the pipe would go visually, and using the tablet. So we were able to kind of zoom in on one of those red points and follow where we were supposed to go using GPS. So once we got to the point, or if there was too much vegetation, we couldn't get there for some reason, we would enter the data into the collector app, which is what Phil was talking about before. And we would upload a picture. That way later when Kellen or Terry or whoever is looking at it can see what we saw and see the condition if our description is not good enough.
So this shows an example of how we entered in the data. So basically we arrived at an outfall location, clicked on the icon, this screen would pop up. And we entered in information like street, what's the inlet, what does it discharge into, what's the condition, is there damage, does it need maintenance, and any sort of remarks. Is it actually an outfall, is there sediment buildup, is it clogged? And of course the date. And this would all feed into an ArcGIS platform so we can actually see where are the outfalls over in town.
So why is this important? Why would we spend 6 weeks on this? Or actually 5, more like 5. We actually were out in the field. So I'm sure many of you don't get the chance to just sit and work on one project for 6 weeks, but we did. So it saves the town a lot of time and money, and it also helps meet the requirements that Phil was talking about with the mapping that is required under MS4 and SEPTES, and also aids in the annual report that the town has to make. And in general, managing stormwater is important because it helps us control pollution and maintain the highest quality of water in the town, and for all of New York State.
Alright, let's play a game.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, Terry's not here.
So we're going to show you a series of pictures. There might be some descriptions, and you guys have to determine if it is or if it's not an outfall. Kellen and Terry may not answer.
Or Bob.
Or
If I don't know it by now, I'm in the wrong business.
So here's the first one. So this is the pipe, and this is what it's discharging into.
So this was an outfall. It was said it was an outfall on here.
Yeah, so all these places, all these pictures are places that, when we looked at that map that we have and on the tablet, say that they're outfalls. So then we would show up and go, huh, is it? We always run down, what do we know? That's Phil's biggest thing. What do we know? So you can play, what do you know about this?
These are not actors, folks. Real
This is
field
real
stuff.
outfall.
Alright, any
Anyone have
guesses?
any thoughts?
That's falling in the dirt.
It needs to be clean.
That does look like dirt.
Clean.
Yes.
Not all at once.
We'll say no.
No, we have no.
Alright. Does everyone feel
It's
good
not
about
falling into
no?
any waterway.
It's gotta go into water.
It is not outfall. So this is what I was talking about with the sort of non-concentrated sheet flow. So you see it's kind of flat and just goes into not really a ditch or a body of water. So it's not an outfall. Great, that's the next one. That's a pipe right there.
That's a yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Second?
Yes. So it's going right into that stream, as you can see. There's sort of a little ditch, but it's right into the stream. So this is the one that we're asking about, and that's the bonus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should we provide a little bit more information about the bonus? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So this bonus pipe, if you were there, like Phil and I were there, you would know that there's a road here, and on the other side there's this same stream and a pipe that looks just like that pipe on the other side, and water's flowing into it over there, and water's flowing out of it over here.
So what do we think about this guy right over here?
Say yes.
That's a yes.
That's a yes?
What about the bonus pipe?
No.
No.
It's a trick
One no.
question, is that what it is? I think it's
One
a
no.
no. I'll second the no.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
why?
right. So that second pipe is an example of a culvert. So that stream is moving underneath that road. But that other pipe that you saw is
Oh,
an
so the
outfall.
stream course was going through the second pipe, and the first one was contributing additional
Yes.
fluids? Okay, got it.
Right, this is the last one.
So-
a little tricky.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is an example of a swale. It's a man-made ditch. And here's the catch basin, and there's actually a stream directly under this catch basin.
So if you were to stand on the catch basin and look down, you would see a stream flowing right underneath you.
And there's 2 entry points in between the swale there.
Outfall or not?
Yes.
Yeah, you're treating it, when I think of water being treated and then solids going down, aqueous going out, where does it go out of? It's, you're directing it, controlling it, engineering it, I think of it as an outfall.
That's right. That was one of the trickier ones that Phil and I stood out there. And
Yeah.
then later asked Kellen about.
I think your first photo was like lottery winning, because to be in Newcastle and to direct water so that like it accumulates in an area and it is not forming anything that resembles a wetland in a town that had a lot of its construction probably historically over wetlands, that's like, I don't know, a portal to another dimension, I think, where that water's going. It just seems remarkable to me.
Great.
Yay, good job, guys.
Very
Well done.
impressive.
Does anyone have any questions?
So when you go back to school and they ask you what you did for your summer vacation, what are you going to tell them?
Long answer, definitely.
How much of the town did you do?
We did the whole town.
The whole town?
All
Yes.
those red dots.
All
You
those.
did every
Over
red
500,
dot.
yeah.
That's it, that's an
We
enormous
finished-
undertaking.
So how
2 weeks
many
ago.
were out of the 500 dots that were there, how
Yes.
many were outfalls versus how many were not? Do you recall?
Definitely over half.
Yeah, we didn't keep track as we were going, and to do so, we'd have to go back and, at least as far as what we know how to use of the app, we'd have to go back and click on each point and see what our remarks were.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably at least half. There were also a good amount that when we got there, it was so vegetated that we couldn't see anything or we couldn't locate a pipe. So we have our remarks all listed out and kind of a key for what our remarks mean, whether or not we saw an inlet but then couldn't find a pipe, or we did see an inlet but couldn't find where the actual pipe was. So we have, I'd say probably about half of them, yeah, that was a good, are ones that we actually physically saw and said, yes, that is.
And out of the half, so all of them were outfalls or no?
Oh, the half that we could actually verify?
Out of the half that you could verify, how many were true outfalls versus not?
Mhm.
Do you feel like
I thought
half
half
were-
of them were verified outfalls. See the pipe and the inlet and the discharge.
So
And
if
the
that
needle.
map had 500 points, then maybe we have,
300-ish.
yeah,
probably?
Then let's at about 60%.
yeah.
I'd say about 60.
Okay.
That's a
Pretty
phenomenal
impressive.
job.
Yeah, I think
This is
the
a lot less.
objective for these guys was really to verify our outfall map and determine what was an outfall
Yeah.
versus what wasn't an outfall, and then the bonus was all the information they collected, so.
Very good job.
Hey, hats
So were
off
you-
to you.
Were you guys GIS people beforehand or what?
I was not.
No, I've used ArcGIS once, but not to do anything like this.
Wow, pretty impressive, you guys.
There's an angry consulting firm out there who didn't get this project.
Yeah.
There's definitely projects that they do, so you
Save the town of
did a lot.
some
You sure
money.
Pretty
did.
fabulous.
You sure did.
This is really impressive. Congratulations, you guys. Really great job.
Thank you.
Another round of applause.